Hi, friends. Rob Renfroe, president and publisher of Good News. You've probably heard that the Judicial Council of the United Methodist Church recently ruled as to whether a pastor who is married to a person of the same gender may serve the church as a bishop. We at Good News are very respectful of the Judicial Council and deeply grateful for its members who generously give of their time and their talents to serve this important function of the church. Many, including several of our bishops, have stated that the recent decision by the council was complex and convoluted. I concur. On the one hand, the council ruled that it is unlawful for any person who's been found guilty of being a self-avowed practicing homosexual to be consecrated to the episcopacy by our bishops. But at the same time, it stated that presently it does not have the jurisdiction to nullify the election of such a person. Of course, this case is not theoretical. This past July, the delegates to the Western jurisdiction knowingly elected Karen Oliveto to the episcopacy, who is married openly to another woman, Robin Ridenauer. And the bishops of that jurisdiction consecrated her shortly thereafter. Though there were some positives in the Judicial Council's decision, it ultimately leaves the church confused as to whether the jurisdictions may, at least in some areas, defy the will of General Conference. A more straightforward and compelling argument was made in Warren Plowden's concurring and dissenting opinion, in which he argued that not only should such a person not be consecrated as bishop, but that Oliveto's election itself could have been and should have been nullified. I hope you will go to our website, www.goodnewsmag.org, and read his opinion. You will find it very interesting and, I believe, very convincing. Among other positive aspects of the council's decision was its instruction to the Western jurisdiction that Karen Oliveto's status should be reviewed. Actually, some time ago, a complaint was filed against her, and that process of review has already begun. What should happen at this point? First and best, Karen Oliveto should resign her position as a bishop of the United Methodist Church, and she should turn in her ministerial credentials. She has been very open about being married to another woman, and she has stated publicly that she herself has performed 50 gay marriages. It's very obvious that she is unwilling to live by our book of discipline, the covenant that makes us a united church. She should do the honorable thing, leave our denomination, and to find a communion that will bless and support her beliefs and her practice. This would save the church the anguish, the expense, and the ugliness of a church trial. Failing that, the Western jurisdiction, its Committee on the Episcopacy, and its College of Bishops should review her status, and if it is determined that she is indeed married to a person of the same gender, then she should be removed from the episcopacy and her ministerial credentials should be required of her. But don't hold your breath. These are the same bodies that elected her and then consecrated her to the episcopacy. And this is the same jurisdiction that has passed resolution after resolution stating that it will not live by our book of discipline when it comes to matters of sexuality, marriage, or ordination standards. Friends, that is a long introduction to what I want to say most, and I want you to hear very clearly. And that is, no decision in this case was going to change where we are as a denomination. We are fractured and we are broken. And regardless of what is decided regarding Karen Oliveto, we will be in that same place. There are progressives within the United Methodist Church who will not ultimately be able to live in a church that denies ordination or marriage to practicing gay persons. And there are others of us who have a high view of Scripture who simply will not be able to live in a church that denies what the Scriptures clearly and consistently teach regarding sexuality. What matters at this point is what the Commission on a Way Forward recommends to the 2019 General Conference and what that conference adopts and puts forward for the church. We cannot become emotionally unsettled or discouraged by every act of disobedience, every failure of our Episcopal leaders to enforce the book of discipline, or by every decision that we wish had turned out differently. What matters is what the Commission does. I understand that we live in troubled times. And I understand that there are going to be many Methodist congregations who believe that to be faithful, they can no longer pay apportionments to the general church. Others will decide that they can pay apportionments, but not that part of the apportionments that goes to the Episcopal fund that pays Oliveto's salary. And some, I'm afraid, will grow tired and weary and decide if our covenant cannot be enforced, maybe it's time to leave. I hope you won't do that. We have been fighting this battle for nearly 50 years. We are frankly just a bit more than a year from hearing the Commission's recommendation. And when we hear that, then we will know what to do, and we will do it together. Either we'll fight against that recommendation and determine what to do next, or we will be able to support it and create a faithful future that we can step into. But whatever we do, we must do it together. We must be strong, and that happens only if we remain together. We are so close to this struggle being over. Please do not grow weary. Please do not get discouraged. Please do not walk away. Remaining together, struggling for a faithful future, is the best outcome for thousands of United Methodist churches and their members, including yours.